Okay, here we go. I am back in Colorado, and it feels good to be back in my main studio now. So, it was a little bit of a tough road trip. Work got pretty intense, and I left the adapter for my tablet to my computer in Colorado when I went out east, and so it made doing work a little bit difficult. And by the time I would have ordered a new one and it got delivered, I would have been back here. So anyhow, it's good to be back. It's actually snowing outside. I tried to have the shades open for the camera, but the windows were too bright, so you wouldn't be able to see it anyway. So I've got a little bit of snow. Um, Let me know if the birds are annoying. I'm playing the birds and stuff in the background just for some just background noise. So I hope you all had a good Thanksgiving. I have absolutely no idea what I'm going to talk about, other than being thankful that I am here in Colorado, and um, I have a lot of people in my life that inspire and encourage me, and I'm very, very grateful that I get to do what I do. Um, Sometimes I wish I could do it more, but one of these days, I'm hoping my goal for the next year is I want my art business to cover at least 50% of, if I can get it to cover 50% of my expenses, then, I can feel like I'm getting somewhere. I'm getting a little bit tired of, well, the problem I have is when you get dependent on something, and you get dependent on where your money comes from and your income comes from, and it can sometimes feel like you're stuck and you're just in a you don't have a lot of flexibility. So, right now, like the architecture pays well, but it really drains me emotionally and physically and mentally. And you know, I I've been going really, really hard since the pandemic started with it. So I feel like I need to like start shifting things a little bit so that like the art business I need the art business to step it up a little bit. And that's just where it is, because it's when you work for yourself, you know it's a constant game of having to put the nets out to catch the fish, and it can get pretty exhausting. So, but anyhow, I just a little shout out about my website. I've got gift cards are available on it. I also have started a GoFundMe for trying to raise funds to focus my attention this winter on the graphic novel that I want to write. I'm sure you see me posting pictures about it. I'm trying to get one of the chat first. I'm trying to get a chapter in the middle of it done this next winter, so that I can market it out and get some sort of venture capital to try to finish it next, not this winter, but the following winter. Two winter. It's probably going to take 3 years to get this first one out. And I'm also doing it all myself, so any help that you can throw my way really, uh, you know, helps me keep it going. And ultimately, I hope to be able to start getting some money where I can have people come on board to help me with it. I don't necessarily want to ask for free help. I try not to ask for free help anymore. So, but I hope you all have a good Thanksgiving. I kind of slept through most of it because Tuesday and Wednesday I was on the road coming back to Colorado. So, you know, yesterday and Thursday was a lot of sleeping. So, um, God, it's Saturday already. Yeah, but it's always a balance trying to, you know, ultimately as a creator or as an artist, you know, as a rate, what's called a rainmaker, because basically you create the products that you sell, and ultimately your business is dependent upon you being on the canvas or on your musical instrument or writing or whatever it is that you're doing, and you don't have a lot of time for administration. You don't have a lot of time to manage the website. You don't have a lot of time to make all of the marketing stuff. And usually you don't have the capital to hire other people to do this for you. So you know, it's a never-ending process of learning how to do things, learning how to do things more efficiently, learning how to keep it going, and learning how to keep producing, and then learning how to get your name out there as best as you possibly can, and not shoot yourself in the foot, which I've done a lot in the past. So, but yeah, wow, the drive between Atlanta and Colorado, which I've done 5 times since June, or maybe six since April, is it's it's worn me down quite a bit. So it's you're gonna see me begging for sales quite a bit over the next month because I've got a lot of things that I need to. I have a lot of things that I need to purchase and fix, and I need I need some help. It wore out my truck. I've pushed over 250,000 miles on this last trip. So I've got 250,000 miles on my van, and it's a great van. It's a little beaten up from being on the road so much this year, so it needs a little bit of love. Mm, it does feel good to be back in my main studio. So being on the road is being creative on the road is pretty tough. I mean, you can only do so much in your sketchbooks and your journals. I've got a tablet that I can work on, to do the digital stuff. But when I forget my adapter for the computer, it makes it pretty awful. So, but yeah, today's gonna be quiet. I might go walk us through a few things. I do, I do. I kind of want to just apologize to everybody this holiday season because I'm not really going to be able to do discounts for everybody for my store. I can't afford to do that. I just have a lot of expenses that are coming up towards the end of this year, and when I do discounts, it really comes out of the money that I make. I still have to pay for the production, the website, the printing, the shipping, materials, and all of that. I still have to pay for all of that in full. So, the hard part with discounts is you think you are giving me all of this money. In reality, the discount's coming out of the margin that I would make to be able to support myself. So, I'm not going to be doing discounts this year. Um, what I do instead, though, my pricing on my website does include shipping, and I always, with every order, give extra prints, extra stickers, extra magnets. So you always get a little bit of an extra gift when you place an order with me. So rather than discounting this year, I am going to be giving you all a little bit more and a little bit more gifts. So okay, that's the commercial for today. I'm practicing. I'm practicing. I want to do a video later that like I'm trying to get better at doing videos, and it's taken a bunch of years, but trying to get comfortable in front of a camera when you are not comfortable in front of the camera is a little bit hard to do. Especially when your livelihood depends on it. So you kind of have no choice, and you just have to jump in and start doing it. So, I'm practicing. It's always a practice. So, but more coffee. Coffee's not doing it. The coffee's not giving me the normal coffee buzz this morning. It's probably because I'm a little bit tired from the trip back. So, but I'm sure tomorrow I'll be back here tomorrow, and I'm sure that tomorrow will be on fire. Today is kind of just it takes about a day, 2 to 3 days when I come back from the road to get the studio sort of warmed up and humming again, because I got the whole house that I live in is my studio. So I've got stations with projects all over the place so that I can keep the production line going. So so today is technically the first day back in the studio, and so I'm just kind of warming that up. I want to jump into. I think I'm just going to go ahead and jump into um, what I want to talk about today. Is is this right here? I'm gonna move over to the side just a little bit so that you can see it a little bit better. But I this winter am starting a graphic novel, and I know most of you have heard me talking about it. I've been wanting to do this for 20 years. It's finally the time that I feel like this story needs to be told, because I fear that worldwide we're falling back into the same patterns, and it's just going to repeat itself. So I'm basically doing a graphic novel, and Iron is only the working title that I've got it for it right now. It may be called Iron in the end. It may be called something else. I have another name for it. I just don't want to reveal that name until the very end, just for you know, I don't want anybody else to grab. It's a really cool name, and I don't want anybody else to grab it and run off with it, if you know what I mean. So Iron is my working title. But basically, all I've got right now are these sketches. As you can see, this is just really, really rough sketch, and I'm doing this all. This is all digital, like a form of digital painting, and um, you know, the way digital painting works is, I'm still like I use the pencil point. This is for the brush, and I'm still like, instead of a canvas, I have a digital canvas, and I'm drawing right on the screen. So, it's like no different than drawing in a sketchbook. It's no different than painting on the canvas. It's just working directly in Photoshop right on the screen, not using the mouse, just using this stylus, and basically creating everything. Now you've got some benefits because you get the undo keys and you got all of the tools of Photoshop at your disposal. But like, if you look over here, I keep like color palettes over here, and then I've got brushes that are over here that like, these are all the ones that I typically use. So, but typically, when I start a digital piece, and goes for rather even if it's in a sketchbook or if it's on a canvas or if it's a digital painting, all of my pieces start with what's called an armature. Now, an armature is something like this. Now, this is the armature that I am using for laying out scenes in this graphic novel in iron. And the color codes, the green and the blue and the black and the dashed, they all have different sort of meanings that I use them for. Typically, the dashed lines are just a way of keeping in touch with the basically just keeping your sort of mind on the perspective. And each of these different vertical lines represent a sort of proportion along the diagonals. And so basically, everything gets put up on top of this. Right in the middle is kind of where the divider of the book is going to be. So I've decided that, and you'll see in some of these first images why, but I've decided, instead of going with a traditional portrait layout for my graphic novel, I'm going to go sort of wide panoramic landscape. And instead of the pages being vertical, they're going to be horizontal. And reason being is when you're holding the graphic novel, basically, I want this panoramic sort of view that, like, it sort of is it's wide and it's pulling you into the scene. So I've got a few scenes that I've already started sketching out, because what I have is, like, I've got visions. Like the story arcs and the outline for all the chapters are pretty much done. Just dialogue specifics and details, and making sure that I get all of the machinery correct, all of the weapons correct, all of the vehicles correct. I'm using the right types of tanks. I'm using the right types of uniforms. Just trying to make sure it's all sort of period authentic to the Vietnam War on both sides, both in both on the military U.S. side and the Vietnamese side. So you can see here what I'm talking about. So this is basically, like, I'm calling these sort of so I'm coming up with sort of keyframes, and the keyframes are going to be these scenes that take up both of the pages. So when you open it up, it's just supposed to be something that has just so much detail, and it's just so deep, and you can go so far into the image that it just pulls you in. And then each of these keyframes will have different sort of smaller different frames with the dialogue that connect between all of them. So that's sort of like my approach to it. But you can kind of see part of how I have got the armature coming through the scene in the background. Ultimately, the idea is to cover up all of the armature as much as possible. So this piece, or this scene, I call Napalm Rhapsody. And then here is First Trip Out, which is basically the platoon that we are going to be following. Their first trip out into the jungle. And here they are walking by sort of a bunch of soldiers that have been here for a while, and they're dealing with something. There's going to be something that's happening on the right side of this piece. I'm not showing it quite yet. I haven't gotten that far into it. I literally just knocked this scene out yesterday. So this took me this is about 6 hours worth of work just to get to this point. And it's still very sketchy. And the hard part is, I like the raw chaosness of the sketchiness, but I also want to finish it up a little bit better. But I want to find that nice, comfortable zone between the two that ultimately I'm getting the aesthetic just right. Because like in War, there's this sort of chaos to it, and I want the jitteriness of my line work to be able to capture the jitteriness of just the soldiers and the people that are in the the scenes, just because I feel it lends itself well to that type of energy, that that sort of vibration to it. I should probably flip this. So I'm going to go ahead and flip to let you see more of this. And I'm going to go down. Hi, I'm down in the corner now. Um, so I want you all to, you can see, like on this side, I'm just kind of just sketching in, just where everything is. And every time I kind of go over, like I'll go through this with a bunch of scratch line work. Then I'll come in and then I'll take the smudger or the little finger tool that's like right over here. And then like I'll take this. Hold on, let me get on the layer. And then I will just take this and then I'll start, it basically, what I'll do is I start blending the scratch lines in, and then I just do this layer after layer after layer, and just trying to, and I leave a little bit of the sketchiness through it, but then like there's like finished parts, and like typically the parts that I want you to focus on are the parts that I'm going to be doing as detailed as I possibly can. I mean, up here you can see up in the leaves, I just really roughly have started just kind of just blending it all in. You can see kind of the, like, I'm trying to figure out how to do the facial expressions here. A lot of it is just some trial and error. This person up here in the front is sort of looking over to see what's going on here. You can see the people on this, the soldiers on this tank sort of have it sort of cordoned off. Ultimately, this is going to be like, you're not going to see what's happening behind this wall. Behind this wall is just going to be somebody that is being taken in under suspicion of working for the Viet Cong, and then their family is going to be over here, and you're going to see that they're actually kind of they're going to be sort of well-to-do for the area. So because there's just it's a lot of what I want to do is, because like a lot of things I feel were hidden from everybody, like even the soldiers that were there. Like these soldiers are new recruits, they're going straight in and they're seeing this here. They have no idea what's going on over there. The idea is these two are basically, these three characters here are going to be the main character. There's going to be three main characters that are going to form a triangular sort of bond with each other, and they're going to be the main focus. So you've got these two characters. I'm trying to make them look like they're having a conversation, like they're discussing what's going on over there. And then this person here is actually got their hand on the tank, because it's like seeing the tank, like just like having that touch. Like, is this real? Is this real? Like this person's just brushing their hand over the metal of the tank, and then there's another person in the platoon is moving off on the other side of the tank down this really, really narrow path. And again, I'm trying to capture this suffocating jungle that they're walking through with this sort of mist-like light that's going to be coming in, lighting from above. So that's basically the gist of this scene. This one is basically just, like they're in a battle with, insurgent troops from the other side, and they're called, like, napalm has been called in, and, they're just kind of getting themselves out of the way, and sort of, these two are going to be kind of behind one of the tanks. Tanks were used, but the jungle made them very, very difficult to kind of really get them up on the front line more than they were used. So, it's a lot happening in this. Like I said, this piece is called Napalm Rhapsody, and then this one is First Trip Out. This one is, and I want to show you on this one, I want to give you this is a great example to show you how the armature works. So I'm going to pull this up here, and you can see how I use the armature. Like, the face of the soldier is coming along. Like these green lines are sort of ways to connect the soul, like to connect the human forms with the perspective. And then the blue lines are just sort of good guidelines that connect along the diagonals of being in certain proportions, deep into, like, be able to keep my concept of scale and proportion as I go deep into the perspective. It's just a tool that I've developed in my painting that I'm just bringing over now into the graphic novel. You know, ultimately the red lines are kind of like where you want to kind of sort of get most of the action within those areas. So it's just a way when I sketch, like you can see how this gun comes down to this point. This line of the soldier is following the green line. The knees, the center of the knees are where these two green lines cross, you know, and then they connect with how this green line is following this face, following the angle of the neck, you know. So it's an armature is just, it's also used in sculpting as a little metal sort of skeleton underneath the clay sculpture that people use. We also use it in painting. Underneath most paintings is an armature that kind of illustrates or helps the artist remember how they want the scene to be viewed. So that's where we got from that. So this is what I have so far, and then I've got some sketches that I've been working on. These are my first Huey sketches. I'm gonna ultimately next is gonna take like, I'm using a journal that I'm using the sketches in, that I can ultimately bring them into and put them on the armature, and then I can just start doing the digital painting on the top of that. Yes, actually, I was mentioning it earlier. We've got not a lot. I don't have a lot of snow, but you know, it's mostly just dusting. We did not get as much snow as was anticipated, so. But ultimately, I'm going to take these sketches now, and then I'm going to put them onto the armature, and then I'm going to start bringing them into this level of detail work. So it's going. This project's going to take me about 3 years to do. Dad, I'm going to use you as a military consultant on this to make sure I get the equipment right. But yeah, that's this is the way it and again, this is all just sketching, you know. This right you see here on the screen, that's about 3 hours of work, just me sketching it out, trying to get it out. And then what I'll do is, yeah, this took 3 hours of work, but then there's going to be another 24 hours to 48 hours to get each of these scenes to be like to the level that I want them to be at. So I like the way that one, I really like this one. And then this one worked out really, really well too. But anyhow, that's my quick walkthrough of this next big project that I'm working on. So for anybody that is interested in helping, and that don't this. Oh, thanks, James. Yeah, this is like this is just the fact that this is just these are just my initial sketches that I'm working out, and I'm doing so much. I spend about like 2 hours to 3 hours a day doing research on this. I'm watching like every single thing I can get on the Vietnam War videos. I'm watching all of the movies. I've got an actual playlist on my YouTube Music where I listen to the music of the time. Like I look at the music that was being played on Good Morning Vietnam radio that was out there. Um, Back in the day, Robin Williams ended up being in the movie about that. But like, I'm trying to get as far into understanding. Like, I'm listening to there's so many videos of soldiers that are now come out on YouTube, and they're talking about their experiences during the war, and I'm watching all of them. And um, ultimately, I'm going to do just a quick little sort of um, promotion for myself here. But I now have a GoFundMe that I'm using to try to raise funds to help offset my income so that I can focus as much on this as I can. So the more money I can bring in through this, the more money I can bring through this GoFundMe, the more I'm going to be able to get done. And I'm trying to get the goal for this winter is to get a full chapter completely done that I can like fully illustrated, like within 95%. Like this is where how deep the story is going to go. It's not going to give anything away. The chapter's not going to give anything away. And it's going to be roughly around in the middle, and it's a fun chapter. It's called "It's a Fucking Dragon," or I'm going to call it "It's an effing dragon," because I'm not going to use. I'm trying not to curse as much as I used to, but ultimately, I'm just trying to raise the funds because it's just me doing this, and I'm having to do all of the work, and it's just. I'm trying to help offset doing architectural work so that I can focus on this. And one of the benefits that I am going to be putting together for people that donate to the fundraiser is everybody that donates whatever you can donate to the fundraiser is going to get first read. I'm going to make certain pieces of artwork available just to the people that are funding this. And then also I am creating a specific section of my website that's going to be devoted to this. It's going to be sort of like a combination with a blog of the processes and the things that I go through creating this novel. It's going to have access to all of my research, the maps that I'm creating. It's going to be a little bit of a historical lesson, and it's going to be only accessible to people that go through the fundraiser, because I'm not going to be putting a lot of this up on social media because one, I want to keep as much of this protected and secret as possible. I really want to get people involved with being able to feedback off of. And people that are actually generally interested in supporting this with me. So I always am kind of weird about asking for money, but I feel this story really, really, really needs to be told right now, especially with what's going on in the world. And this is my life for the next 3 years. So. And then I'm just basically, some of this will probably change as I go. I just needed to get something up. So I literally this just went live yesterday. So that's where am with that. But I really like how I did this tank, um, I'm really, really happy with the way that it turned out. Hold on a second. I'm looking for something. Yeah, so I actually did yesterday working on this tank. I did a lot of research on the M48s. The M48 patent, A3 patent, is the tank that was primarily used during the Vietnam War. And then I think it was the other big vehicle that was used was the M113 transportation vehicle. So figuring it out. This has been a really, really good exercise in really learning about the war. Like I'm realizing things about the Vietnam War I never understood. Like how close the Iron Triangle, where a big, huge, like it was sort of like where like the sands of an hourglass where it comes down, that Iron Triangle that was pressing down on Saigon, just north of it, um, was where so much of the pressure was coming in from the North Vietnamese. And, when you hear them talk about the tunnel network that was there, that the Vietnamese use, I never understood the vastness of how huge it was. We're talking like thousands of miles of tunnel work, not just tunnels. Their headquarters were underneath there, their hospital, their living quarters, and it was all designed in certain ways where just smoke, the tunnels and the entrances to all the tunnels were done so that water and smoke and whatever just wouldn't go far in, like wouldn't penetrate that far into it. And I saw actually a map, and I'll have to pull that up one of these days, of underneath the Iron Triangle near the Hobo Forest, where a lot of the fighting happens. It's near the Michelin rubber farm that was there where they made the rubber for their tires. Was just north of the Iron Triangle, and basically there was just a network of tunnels under there that were thousands of miles, tunnels on top of tunnels, because we're talking three-dimensional with these tunnels, and then you would have like certain tunnels that would like, there would be secret paths through the tunnels, and I don't think the hospital or the military base was ever discovered that was down there where everything was coming out of. So it was a very, very different type of war. The problem was, I think, with the U.S. going in there, it's not like they just all of a sudden built these tunnels. These are tunnels that were down there for decades. The networks of tunnels that were just down there that, like, just like, you know, these people have been kicking people out of their country for thousands of years. For 2,000 years, they've been trying to keep China out. They've been trying to keep the western side of the peninsula out, like Thailand area, out of their country. Trying to kick the French out of there. Then World War II, the Japanese came in. The problem with World War II was the Japanese came in and kicked the French out. So the Japanese and the French fought with each other. So in the meantime, the Vietnamese took that as an opportunity to secure their footing in getting their defenses up. And then the Japanese were never, ever, ever able to maintain any sense of control over Vietnam. And as soon as the war was over, the French tried to come back in. And by that time, the Vietnamese had just, secured up their defenses. There was no way the French were going to take over, get that under control ever again. And unfortunately, the French ran away, and then, the Americans got sucked into that vacuum, and it's just, it was just not a good situation for for the American side. Honestly, studying it was a losing proposition no matter how you looked at it. There was no way that the Americans were going to be able to, one, liberate the South, two, maintain a sense of control over it, because look what happened. I mean, ultimately, America had to come out of the war, and we kind of just abandoned the South, and the South got overwhelmed. But look where Vietnam is today. A lot of people would say that ultimately capitalism is winning over the communist government there. And, it's, I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts studying all of the wars that I've studied. And I do study the wars. So, mostly just like I want to know. I need to understand all of this stuff. So, you know, I'm not just this woo woo artist out there in the middle of imagination land. I've like a hardcore reality underneath everything. And, it's reading my uncle's journals really put this into perspective for me. And, I'm like, my approach to this graphic novel is going to be very, very different than a lot of other Vietnamese Vietnam War media that has been out there. I would say this is probably going to be closer to Good Morning Vietnam, like on the sense of intensity. I don't necessarily want to just show blood and guts everywhere. That's been done so many times in this story, and it's not really the core of what this story is about. There's a twist at the end of this book that puts it all into perspective, and I'm not going to publicly talk about the sort of literary outline that I've got mapped out for this story, except like when I do it on my like privately on my private section on my website, because I don't want this story to get out there. It's been brewing in my head for 20 years now, and you know, I don't want somebody coming along and taking it from me. So, it's there's the brutality of this war is there's going to be certain scenes like this where like going through these different areas where there's going to like I want to take you on an emotional just like run through a field of napalm. There's going to be the harsh brutality of what this war was, but there's also going to be a lot of this where something's happening, but you're not something brutal, something is happening that's intense, but you're not going to see it because it's like, it's going to be from the perspective of those within the platoon. And, sometimes like it was hidden, it's just, it's the propaganda of war, and, this is just on the way out for the first trip into the jungle. So, it's there's going to be some fun parts to it, like funny parts to it, like sort of dark humor funny. But anyhow, that's just a quick talk about that. And I'm going to kind of end that there. So please, if you can support, this is just general out there to anybody that's listening and watching the videos after the fact as well. Just help promote this, help let people know that this is here, that I'm working on this. This is probably, of all of the things that I still have up inside of my head that I'm trying to get out, if I died before I was able to produce this, I feel like my life would be a disappointment to me. This is the one thing that I have inside of me that I feel like I need to get out in this life. So everything else is irrelevant. Everything else is ego. This has a lot of lessons that I've learned things that I feel that need to be shared, you know, perspectives so that history doesn't repeat itself. Um, you know, because it kind of repeats itself. So, anyhow, if anybody has any questions about this, feel free to message me, contact me, help support. I appreciate any support that can come my way. So I will just leave it at that. I will be talking about this a lot, so I will be coming back here and asking again. So anyhow, that's the end of that segment. So let's bring this back around. How long have I been? I got 10 minutes left. 10 minutes left. Let's see. It's a race between the clock ending and basically me having to go to the restroom. Another way to help support me is to buy something through my website at keithprosek.com. You know, I I have to keep I have to keep advertising myself because it's a constant being a self employed professional artist is constantly asking for money. Well, with the hope that someday I'll get to the point where it will be driving itself, but um, I'm not there yet. I'm at the point where I've been privileged with architecture being able to support me as much as it has, but I'm at the point where I'm getting tired of it, and I'm worn out from it. I'm at the point where I'm cursing everybody and hating on everybody, and that's when I know I need to step back and I need to pull up the art a little bit to kind of help offset that. Just need a break from it. And again, it's just the way of it. I know what I got myself into, so doesn't mean I can't ask for help. Anyway, what are we going to talk about for the rest of these 10 minutes? I've got snow. I wonder if it's still snowing. Let me see. Let me go see if it's still snowing outside. No. Looks like the snowing has stopped for the moment. And it's just a dusting. You know, it's just a small dusting that you know, haven't gotten the full blizzard yet out here in Colorado. You know, blurry. There we go. So, you know, I'm looking forward to. From what I'm hearing from everybody, we're behind on snow this year. So, um, this time last year, like it was, you know, there was so much snow here this time last year. Now it's just like it dusts. You get a small dusting in the middle of the night, and then it's gone by noon. But it keeps coming. It keeps coming. I think the next cycle is like every 3 to 4 days. There's flurries that come in or snow that comes in. So um, I still I still need to get my skis, and I still need to get um, snow tires. So that's the other big thing. I need snow tires, I need brakes, and I need a new windshield. So that's the way. Let's see. We have a lot of people following today. Ooh, I have a lot of people that have followed. Good deal. Hopefully this keeps going. I'll be back tomorrow. uh, we're coming up to, okay, I know we can talk about. We're coming to the end of this first year of Creative Coffee. And it basically goes just like 4 seasons every year. So we're coming into year 2. We're going to be coming into the winter season next month in December. And I'm finally, my goal for the first year with the Creative Coffee was just get comfortable doing it. Just show up. Just learn how to do it when you're tired and just keep doing it. There were a couple times this past year where I ended up just being like, I can't do it today. I need quiet. But I'm trying to goal for year 2 is to be consistent. And I think we've got a time that is going to work for when I'm both in Colorado and I'm in Atlanta. So basically on Saturday and Sundays, typically if I'm in Colorado, it's going to be both Saturday and Sunday. It'll be probably Saturday and Sunday both days throughout the winter. And then I'm looking at putting in a Wednesday night session in there as well, but that's just going to be me specifically on the I'll be on the canvas painting. So that'll be a live painting one for Wednesday nights. But I don't think that'll be under the creative. I don't know what that's going to be. That'll be something else. I mean, my thought is this: I'm doing the work anyway. I might as well be doing it and streaming it, and getting some marketing material out of it. So, it's just a little trick. I can get little snippets of videos from it that I can just throw on my stories on Instagram. You gotta keep that wheel spinning. But 11 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Mountain Time. That's what we're looking at Saturdays and Sundays going into the winter. So we'll see where it goes. And I'm enjoying it. I like doing the creative coffee sessions. Sometimes somebody comes in and offers up a question that then fuels a discussion, which is kind of nice, But I'm also on the other side. Sometimes I'm here by myself and I have to just kind of wing it and talk about stuff. And I've got enough of things going on that I can talk about a lot of things. So. Like today's session, we talked about the graphic novel. And it was a good practice session. I need to practice talking about the graphic novel and showing it. So let's kind of get that back up there again. I want to keep I just kind of want to just keep that up there, just as a promotional bit. I guess another thing I can talk about. Let's go to here, and then I want to go to my website. All right. Kind of just want to let you all know that gift cards are available. I bring to you gift cards. Where are they? They're on this side. So, if you want to give the gift of my artwork this year, I have gift cards that are available on the website. And if you don't know what to get somebody, this is a good way of getting them. I have them in different increments, 30, 60, 125, 250, and 500. Very reasonable. And also, if you buy a gift card for somebody, I am going to get your address and I am going to send you stickers. So you'll be able to buy a gift card for somebody else. You're giving the gift of supporting me, and then you're also going to get a gift in return. So it's a triple gift. It is a triple gift. So anyhow, that's the way I like to play it. Multiple gifts. When you buy a gift for somebody from me, it's also a gift to me because I try to make it so that as much of the money that is coming in kind of helps support this practice, and it's why I do everything. I print everything myself. I stretch my own canvases. I create my own canvas reproductions. Just try to do it all in house, and you know, try to make it so that the support comes as much to me as possible and not go. It's why I'm not doing discount codes this year. I'm not going to be doing discount codes again for anybody. I'm not discounting my artwork ever again. Instead, I give more. So, my prices have the shipping included. So if you see my price, the shipping is already included. And then for every order that I receive, and when I send that order out, I give extra prints, I give extra stickers, I give extra magnets. So you get extra stuff from me rather than me discount my artwork. Because literally when I discount the artwork, it's coming from me and not the people that I still have to pay to produce that product. So you think you're paying me, giving me all of this money, but in reality, the discount comes from, like, I lose with discounts. Like when you're doing a discount for a small business, you're really hurting the small business. It's not like, everybody has taken it upon themselves to do the discount code thing, but it really hurts them. And, in the end, they still have to pay for everything that was used to produce that product. They lose their time, they lose their money. Like, it's not like Amazon can take the brunt of a 15 or a 20 or a 30% discount. Small businesses, the only other thing that they end up doing is what happens is when you see the discount, they probably have already increased the price and then they're doing the discount. And I'm not going to play that game either. I'm not doing that. I'm done with that. So, and the discounts devalue the work. I'm going to give you an example. Like, I gifted, like, somebody came up to my booth last weekend at an event, and I was doing a live painting at an ecstatic dance. And I thought it was being nice. I gave away a free magnet and a free sticker for them. And then, they're like, yeah, we want to support you. And then I gifted them the free sticker and the free magnet. And then when we were cleaning up from the night, I found the sticker off in the corner of, like, on the floor. And the thing that I hate the most is when, it's why I don't do business cards anymore, is when I find my business card or something that I gifted to somebody on the floor after an event. That's like the biggest heartbreak that I get. So, anyhow, I'm a big, huge promoter of the arts and respecting the artists and respecting the small businesses and those that are hustling every single day, out there trying to push and trying to make a better life for themselves. It's it's hard being in a society that is so gripped by the commodification of everything that they just give all of their money to the big corporations and they don't keep their money local. But then they wonder why their local is suffering. But you just gave all of your money to Amazon. You gave all of your money to Walmart. You gave all of your money to blah blah blah. You're not keeping your money local. Learn how to spend wisely and support the people in your communities. And we're just learning how to do that. And it's just what do you do with just a community that says they want to support local businesses, but they don't. They say they do, but their actions don't ever reflect that. It's why your community and your world is the way it is. You're giving your money away. You're giving your money away to big corporations, and that's why you end up with what you end up with. So, anyhow, we are done. I'm going to sign off Thank you all for hanging by, and I will be back tomorrow. Hopefully, I will be a little bit more awake. I'm still recovering from the long trip back, but this weekend, please support your local small businesses and artists and everybody. Support the local and keep your money local. So, till then, be good. Take care.